Good evening. So, tonight I wanted to do a little bit of a show and tell about some of the things that I'm working on and share up close and personal what they are, what they're all about. Recently, I created a live stream video while I was wearing a body cast. I was casting uh, a mold for my torso. Um, and I was doing this for a very specific reason. It wasn't just a random art project. Um, I am creating a dress form, essentially. Um, and a dress form, for those of you that may not know, is a form used by people that sew or create clothing, costumes, etc., to accurately fit a garment. And I'm kind of petite, so the I even though I already own a dress form with somewhat accurate measurements. Um, my form, as we know, all bodies are not the same, but my form is a little different because I'm very short through the torso, have kind of long legs, and I'm very petite, like I said. So, in order to create something that is really accurate for my body without having to try it on or sew it onto myself, I need essentially a mannequin with my exact measurements. So, I cast my body, and from that, I will create a dress form that is an exact replica of my body to create articles of clothing or costumes with. Um, what had inspired me to create the dress form was a series of paintings that I'm working on that to take a little further than just being a painting. Um, I want to create the costume that I'm painting. Um, During my research on goddesses and female icons and women throughout history, both mythical or real, um, I wanted to focus on strong women, um, women that are pretty commonly known, and those that may not be. So during that process, I did paintings of Kali and research on Kali, who's a Hindu goddess. Um, I did Nike, the goddess of the Greek goddess. Um, there were several, not all of them are coming to mind, but along those same lines, um, as far as legendary women or icons go, the Marys of the Bible came up. And obviously, that's something in Western civilization that's pretty common knowledge are the stories of, Mary, the mother of Jesus, and Mary Magdalene. However, what's interesting about Mary Magdalene is that the version of Mary Magdalene that we've all come to know and hear about is actually several different Marys, all kind of transformed over time into just one Mary. Um, and as I was doing research on Mary Magdalene and the various stories and the how of how she became one Mary, I came across an image from probably the Renaissance of a woman that was mournful and in that very Mary Magdalene way that she's often depicted in classical art. Um, However, she was covered in hair. So hair was draped over her shoulders and obviously coming from her head, but it appeared that she had some kind of hair vest on that just tangled with her own hair. And it turns out that there was yet another Mary of mythology and stories that was mixed in with Mary Magdalene again. It was Mary of Egypt, who was apparently so stricken with grief, sorrow, or the need for forgiveness. I can't really recall the details at this point, but she was covered in hair to cover her shame. And I started to wonder, what would that look like in real time, to actually have someone torso covered in body hair? So I started experimenting. I started making costumes, some of the images have been shared on Twitter and Instagram, and paintings. I created a fur vest and another piece that kind of started to look a lot like a fur bikini. It wasn't really where I wanted to go. So I started to research fabrics and types of things that I could work with to make something look a little more realistic. And I came across a company that creates fur for film and for cosplay costumes. And that's one of my show and tells today. I wanted to show you this stuff. So I ordered samples from this company, NFT. And it's pretty weird looking stuff. And it's very, very stretchy. It stretches this way, but it also stretches this way. The fabric itself is almost like that you'd find in pantyhose. Very stretchy, very hairy. And I thought that with getting these samples and seeing what it was like, and if it's something I can even work with. Obviously, people work with this stuff all the time. There's a lot of creatures in film that are created with this very stuff. And I think it's going to be a really interesting experiment. It's going to be an interesting costume. Even more so, it's going to be really fun to paint and possibly do some performance art in. So my whole creation process is from, creating this body cast, which will then be filled in on the reverse with another material, built up and made into a full body form so that I can create a realistic, hairy body. And then from that, like I said, performance pieces and several paintings coming in the future. So this is just one of the things that I'm working on for the upcoming year. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to actually order the fabric now and really get into creating something kind of terrifying, but at the same time addresses women and body shaming and body hair, strangely enough. So look for those projects coming in the future. And thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks a lot. Bye.